But is there a way we can find out before we...
Well, I mean, we're not going to sit down and redo the whole thing right now, are we?
No. I would simply laugh about how that happened and then start recording the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Simply say, we lost our entire intro. We'll try to sprinkle some of these facts into the episode itself.
Or Ripley and I can record a intro later. And then and then Patty joins us.
True.
We'll find out. I'm sorry if that's the case. I really thought it might be the case.
I don't see why it would have happened.
You tested it.
You sure did.
I did.
I spoke into it.
We watched you do it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why the light wouldn't be on for that particular microphone when I turned it on.
The mic was off.
Yeah. Yeah. There's things.
Yeah.
But the light still stays on.
Oh.
What channel it's picking up on.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
Well, in case you didn't hear the very, very... in case it didn't happen. Hi, my name's Patrick.
And we're going to be
joining them for the rest of the episode. Fuck yeah.
Thanks for listening to our 2 minutes of podcast commercials before that.
Sponsored by Casper Match.
Yeah, and Keeps or whatever.
We like a blue chew on this show.
Like more than a blue chew on this show.
We snort blue chews every episode of this show. All right, we're going to start.
I've been shelving them.
Yo, you gonna boof that blue chew?
That's where we're at. It's like it's like the second take on the intro to Tom Thumping. I mean, when we're just fucking delirious, like
Blue 182.
Blue 182. If we lost all of the shit beforehand, you have caught us in a rather delirious state already. I think we should play some music before we say something that'll get us canceled.
Welcome to
Take
Off
Your
Pod
and
Cast It.
Nice. Welcome everybody. I am Ripley.
I'm Ken.
And today we have the original host of this podcast and a good friend of both of ours. We have Patrick Miller on.
Hey, how's it going?
Going all right. We haven't seen you since Dude Ranch.
No, imagine if these were the only two Blink-182 albums I had ever heard.
Very different point of view of the band.
So we were just saying you didn't hear To the Stars.
No, I've never listened to an entire Angels and Airwaves album.
Okay. Did you listen to Neighborhoods?
Yeah, I liked Neighborhoods. That's the one right before this, yeah?
Yeah.
The very last Tom album.
Dogs Eating Dogs EP.
Oh yeah, that shit's good too.
Yeah,
that's just more Neighborhoods.
Yeah, Dogs Eating Dogs. I think I've discovered on this podcast that might be my favorite Blink-182 thing.
We got to rank them all at the end.
Yeah, it's probably right below Untitled.
They change every week for me.
Yeah,
because
you mean self-titled?
It depends who you're asking.
Oh my!
Yeah, we've covered this, but yeah,
the title track from Untitled.
Untitled. Mark calls it Untitled. Travis calls it self-titled.
I see.
We don't know where Tom stands.
ever
on anything. But today, we are talking about California, the 7th album by Blink-182. Released on the 182nd day of 2016, except they goofed because 2016's a leap year. So it came out on the 183rd day. We're talking about California.
That makes me think that this is a running bit with Mark.
Yeah.
Being a number off. Because there's that you just said. Chapter 13 is track 12 on Plus 44. And the album 9 is the 8th album.
Well, is it because we consider Dogs Eating Dogs a release?
It depends. Because if you consider Dogs Eating Dogs and Buddha, it's their 10th release.
But Buddha's very obviously a demo that got released by another label.
Well, that's Mark says
it's an album.
Mark says that you have to consider either Dogs Eating Dogs or Buddha. And then if you're counting Blink-182 releases, you have to count When We Came to Conquer Uranus.
This is why I'm like, let's just follow the narrative between this and the other thing, the chapter 13.
Well, insofar as their band's name is Blink-182 and they'll never give you a straight answer on where that number comes from, I have learned my lesson not to really trust this band in the numbers game.
Yeah.
This is why I failed math. I really like this band.
Okay, so not to take things too incredibly off topic, but
You know what podcast you're on.
yeah, the one I started where we get incredibly off topic.
Exactly.
Yes.
That was your specialty, and it
just
remains as such.
In my other life in teaching and labor, one school had 13 students protesting the mask rule, and the school really wanted to bend over backwards to appease their insane right-wing parents. But I think it was a school of 1,800, so. And my math was off, but I was saying this is 99.99% of the students are still wearing masks, and less than 0.01% aren't. And I even sent that to my entire department chat of other English teachers, and fucking no one corrected me, and I put that shit out on Facebook.
Oh no.
I was able to correct it.
What's the actual math there?
Just 99 and 1%, which is something...
Still a big number.
I know, it's something we've all heard before and could get behind, speaking of 2016. It's not 1 to 99, it's 99 to 1. It's 99 revolutions tonight.
All right.
The only proper correction you had to make was, I'm an English teacher.
That's all
There you
I
go.
know, but I was just and of course none of you, to my other English teachers, I'm and none of you geniuses corrected me.
Well, I heard that and was like, yeah, that's probably right.
I know,
But,
but in true English teacher fashion, just a couple decimal points off.
So Tom is out. He has furiously released an 8-song fuck you.
The way you say he was fired, what is the actual story?
So, I mean, we talked about it on the last episode, but basically they wanted to keep making music. They claimed that Tom was being too lazy. He wasn't committing to his band, and he was... So Tom got a contract put in front of him that said that he couldn't release a Angels and Airwaves album for 18 months after a Blink-182 album.
Yeah, and that's just business. Labels do that type of shit all the time.
It is, but also he had books and shit planned with that band that had albums coinciding with them. So the contract kept being put in front of him with X amount of months until you can do an Angels and Airwaves thing. 18, 12, 6. And he's like, no months. Tomorrow. And that was a whole thing. Eventually he got what he wanted, but they still fired him.
Yeah.
Which is a thing in Blink. When you think back to Scott getting fired, he went
to rehab,
He
right?
went to rehab, but they fired him anyways.
Right.
It's business.
And it's arguable whose side you want to take on all this stuff. I don't think that this pod has made
I take
any...
Skiba's side in here.
Yeah.
I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. So we're enter Matt Skiba.
Yeah, I'm
all that
Travis's
stuff
side.
happens.
I'm just doing my job.
If you want a better explanation, go back to the last 10 minutes of the last episode where I did that much cleaner 2 episodes ago. So enter Matt Skiba. Matt Skiba, for the 20 years before this album, is well known as the frontman and only original member of Alkaline Trio. A great fucking emo band. A band that we have been talking about since the start of this podcast as influential to Blink-182.
Even though they started after them.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny. They always really existed side by side, and I feel like Alkaline Trio were almost this underdog version of Blink-182.
Yeah.
Where they were just a little darker, and if you didn't like Tom's high voice, you had 2 other guys with weird voices, and I don't know. I always remember those bands really, really existing side by side as almost companions to each other.
Yeah, well, we talked about on the Untitled episode that Blink and I Miss You really brought about the goth pop punk thing.
But I mean, AFI and Alkaline Trio.
AFI
really
and Alkaline Trio were doing
pioneering
it way before.
that.
Yeah. I mean, Good Morning, was that the album right before Untitled came out, or was it Maybe I'll Catch Fire?
Oh, no, Maybe I'll Catch Fire is their second album. It was either Good Morning or maybe From Here to Infirmary.
Yeah.
But
both very goth albums.
But I also think that, without those two bands, but without Blink-182, you don't get bands like My Chemical Romance or Fall Out Boy or these pop punk revival bands that are just a little darker, a little more theatrical.
It's as if you've been listening. I've never like given Alkaline Trio a fair shot. I listened to like their most popular songs over this past week.
Can I play you my favorite song of theirs and the most upsetting lyrics you've ever heard?
Yes.
If it's Radio, we all know Radio, but this is definitely why they wanted Skiba in the band, is to write lyrics like this.
Yeah, except they don't let him write lyrics in this band. Yeah, so this is my favorite. I know that there are many better favorites to have, but like this is the one that everyone knows them for. And this lyric, the opening lyric to the song, still upsets me to this day. I really hate them. It's not nice. Showing that he can also write very Tom DeLonge riffs. Or was Tom DeLonge writing very Skiba riffs?
Right, yeah. Tom wanted to fuck a dog. Here's a different take on the whole
Here's
whole
what
different
that
dog thing.
did in defense.
Shaking like a dog shitting razor blades. Waking
Gross, right?
next to nothing after dreaming.
That's the worst imagery ever.
That's the opening line to their biggest song.
That's crazy. That's gross.
Dude just went out there and talked about a dog shitting razor blades. People ate it up.
Gross.
Great hook in the chorus. Can't lie.
I never knew this was a 4-minute song. Hot Water Music does a better version of this
here
song
comes.
than Alkaline Trio does.
Oh wait, is there another fucking verse?
It does the 2 verses before the chorus thing.
Couldn't be me. I would never do something like that. I don't know what songs I've done that in, but I've certainly done that, haven't I?
Yes.
No cemeteries.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
You mean MH418 2011?
We gotta talk about that.
The fuck?
No, we asked you about it.
It's I forget which episode it is. Neighborhoods, the song that sounds like No Cemeteries.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But here it is.
This Catalysi and red. I got a big fat fucking lonely bitch with you, my darling. In case you haven't heard, I'm sick. I'm tired of trying. I wish you.
Alright, yeah, this shit fucking bops.
Yeah.
And then he just repeats the first verse in a higher octave, and he sounds angry. That's thing.
Fun.
Alkaline is just angrier.
Wait, so he says the horrible line again?
Yes.
He screams it this time.
Let's hear it again.
I think you mean the great line.
Shaking like a dog shitting razor blades.
Says it twice. It's a great song. It's like that movie Mother, where like it's not designed to make you feel good in any way. In fact, it makes you feel very bad. But you're glad you watched it.
Yeah.
I see that the Boss Tones are the next on your list. Are you listening to them post cancellation?
Well, we've been trying to.
Now it's cool to like them again.
I've been trying to trace it. Like trying
in
to
Dickie Barrett's lyrics.
Trying to find out if Dickie Barrett has been hiding anti-vax stuff in Mighty Mighty Boss Tones lyrics.
Well, I
for
mean,
30 years.
They put out play the song they did about George Floyd. Let's see how much we can get through that.
That's okay. We're God, have you? But like, do you know how why he got kicked out?
Yeah, he's the anti-vax guy.
Yeah, he did a theme song for a Q rally.
Could it be that ska guys will just write jingles? I mean, the Toasters practically wrote
Nickelodeon in the 90s.
Right? Yeah, they get paid just by writing commercials all the time, jingles.
I don't know. I forget what the name of the song was, but it was like "Let Your Child Breathe" or some shit like that. Like,
oh, it had lyrics.
Yeah, like we're talking about like this song was like heartfelt, written for a Robert F. Kennedy Jr. rally. Whoa. QAnon shit.
That's just Boston brain. Like, he's a
Yeah.
Kennedy, so you have to do it. Like,
Maybe it was the most punk thing they could do.
At the time, no.
no. I saw it was very funny. I like that. Speaking of Boston, actually, yeah, Al Baril from SSD just said, like, punk rock will always be anti-right wing. Like, where the fuck have you been?
Yeah.
And very cool to have, like, the meathead guitarist of the biggest Boston meathead hardcore band make that abundantly clear.
So, needless to say, Matt Skiba...
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, the only thing I ever really knew Alkaline Trio from was we covered Cop for years.
True.
Did we?
Didn't we?
We covered Cop.
We covered Cop?
Early shows. We might have done it when we opened for MDC, too.
I think we did.
Holy shit, you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, Blink-182 hires Matt Skiba. I'm fucking thrilled. The idea of a
Yeah,
Blink-
I want to fuck a dog shitting razor blades.
Yeah, I was
Together at last. Nuts and gum.
I was honestly very excited. I was excited because Tom was going to get to go off and do his own thing and keep making Angels and Airwaves records that I really liked, and Blink-182 can go on with fucking Skiba. And Alkaline Trio hasn't made anything very good in a while.
They're Chicago Blink-182.
Yeah. So Skiba, Travis Barker, and Mark Hoppus.
Could they have just given themselves a different name, or is it cool that it's still Blink-182?
I'm fine with it. I don't like it, but I'm fine with it.
Just curious.
I'm still reckoning with all of this because, spoilers, I loved California.
Yeah.
I did not expect to. This tail end of the podcast is what I was dreading, like, this whole time.
And you like it?
I fucking love California.
And if you go back to Cheshire Cat, I'm stoked about the later half.
Uh-huh.
Revisiting this, I'm really not.
I mean, it's just...
We have switched. Like, this podcast has been you going up and me going down.
To me, I was just... When they announced Skiba, I couldn't believe people were still buying tickets. I was like, how do you even... If you're a fan of this band for years and know the words, how do you even care about it without...
So here's the deal. If Plus 44 had gone on tour with a 20th anniversary of Enema the State tour, they would have sold out the 930 Club. Blink-182 with Matt Skiba goes on tour touring the 20th anniversary of Enema the State. They sell out Jiffy Lube live.
Yeah.
Blink-182 sells out arena. Mark Hoppus and Travis Barker sell out clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's
what kind of gigs does Angels and Airwaves play? Stadiums, right?
Clubs. No,
Like the Anthem.
Like I saw
that'd
them
be
at the
sick.
Anthem.
Let's just
Or no, I saw them at
want to get
Fillmore.
into them.
They're good.
They're really good. You should
Yeah.
check it out.
I will.
But yeah.
I feel like I'm going to get clowned on, though.
Angels and Airwaves didn't even sell out the Fillmore when I saw them.
Speaking of the Fillmore,
Jawbreaker. We're seeing Jawbreaker do Dear You
Another
in its
Jawbreaker.
entirety.
Oh, cool.
That's exciting. We got to find out if we're playing any gatherings on the way to that show. Violent J's brother wants to speak to you.
has that story been relayed on this podcast?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, because we did Father of All. We talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see. You got to go back to the season 1 of this
Yeah, season
podcast
1.
to hear that story.
So that was like season 1.5.
Speaking of whoop whoop.
No shit. Can somebody keep a tally? No, hold on. Did you already do it?
Well, yes, I did.
All right, we'll get to that then.
But let me just read my intro to this album. California is the seventh studio album by American rock band Blink-182. It holds the Guinness record for having the most millennial whoops on any album ever, where 14 of the 16 songs have a millennial whoop. Is what I wrote in my Delirious Stone State at lunch today. It has more millennial whoops than any album ever. If you can show me any other album with more than 14, I will be very impressed.
Look, this is the quintessential millennial band.
All right, what I think we should do is listen to, when I was listening to it for about three times before Onan. Liked it plenty when it came in, but can you, Rip, before we listen to this album, I want to listen to the song from one album that I think is better than most of these songs, which is Still Breathing by Green Day. came out, I think, right before it or right same year.
I was gonna bring this up, and since you brought it up, I'll just say this right now. The lead single for this album was "Bored to Death." Got up to number 2 on the rock charts, and it could not kick off. Still Breathing.
Still Breathing is one of
beat
Green
this
Day's
on
best
the rock
songs.
charts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it is just a little bit better.
It's one of Green Day's best songs. That album sucks, but this song slaps.
Wait, have we seen this music video?
I don't think
Never
so.
seen this.
Oh,
so
we're
let's
to
watch it.
do live commentary for the
But,
Still Breathing music video.
I put on a few tracks from this album because California made me want to listen to it so much because I listened to both albums that year.
Is it the
Yeah.
same year?
Uh-huh.
Green Days comes out in October.
Green Day and Blink have, like, not since Warning and Enema been releasing albums at the same time.
Until this year.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like a soldier coming home for the
No, Nimrod was out around the same time as
Dude Ranch, I guess.
between Dude Ranch and Enema. It's
Yeah.
funny, that was Green Day on the kind of descendant in their
Yeah, when
in their
Blink was...
career trajectory.
Yeah.
And then Warning was kind of the lowest point until the trilogy.
Well, it was a low point for them because they were opening for Blink
Right.
and outshining Blink every night.
This video is very serious.
I know. It reminds me of the fucking Good Riddance video.
Yes.
There's kind of on the street, and there's a
other people
shitty car
looking around in slow motion.
band looking off into the distance, back to the shitty car.
Looking at Green Day in 2016 versus looking at Blink in 2016, these are old men, and they know it, and they recognize it.
Yeah.
Blink are like, something about you I can't stick my finger in. Like,
But Green Day was never that. All by Myself was like hidden, you know?
What are you talking about? I mean,
Like I don't consider them as like publicly silly boys as Blink.
I think Blink-182 sort of stole that title from them in a lot of ways.
yeah.
All right, I'll give you that.
Because, before American
we've
Idiot, they were
watched the
definitely
Woodstock-
silly boys.
Yeah, the Woodstock 94 video.
True. I watched that before leaving for Bonnaroo last year, and Bonnaroo got canceled as I crossed the Tennessee state line, but it was because it was so goddamn muddy there, and that
I remember
that video at Woodstock set made me want to go. I was like, this is going to be awesome.
Most of that was poop. You do know that, right? Like,
No, you're thinking of 99.
okay. There's a lot of poop there.
Dookie.
As I walk.
To follow up on a thread from...
That bridge right there. That's some Blink bridge writing right
yeah,
there.
this is some Mark Hoppus shit, yeah. To follow up on a thread from when we did Green Day, we saw him do Still Breathing live, and he never played the guitar,
That's
but he
one of
held
the
on to it.
Most
This
boss
is
things
why we're
ever.
here, by the way, guys.
yeah, here we
This
go.
is why we put this on.
Here we go.
restless and the truth that's in the message, making my way away. Cause I'm
So what he did right there is called the Millennial Whoop.
It's a very common interval
It's from the
And-
1 to the 5 to the 1, right?
and a very similar mixing and mastering on the vocal effect.
yeah.
And that's the only time Green Day does it on that album that they self-produced.
I bet you might find it more in there, but because it's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere.
It would have been so much funny if that guy was looking at a picture of his wife breastfeeding their kid. And he was like 16.
It's all over music in 2016.
Yes.
I think the whoop has gone away a little bit, and what I would like to like blame is kind of like SoundCloud emo rap. Mm-hmm. Kind of killed the whoop.
Did they do it too much?
No, I think they just like were making similar music to whoop music that didn't have the whoop.
They just rejected that.
yeah.
They should
just to close the loop of what I was saying, I saw Green
close
Day.
the whoop.
Close the whoop. I saw Green Day at their Stadium Hella Mega Tour last summer, and Billy has let go of the guitar. to
That's a
sing,
good update.
Still,
That's
still
cool.
breathing.
So he just kind of rocks it on the main vocalist.
Yeah, goes up the front of
up
the
the
catwalk.
catwalk.
Yeah. But my point to saying the producer thing is like Green Day self-producing that made the decision to do that very common, very poppy thing once, whereas California, which is produced by a successful music producer around this time, like it
Does
feels
this
like
pick up my grumbles, my Marge Simpson's grumbles?
it feels like a very active decision to insert them as much as possible.
It gets to the point on this album where you start anticipating ones that aren't even there, and you just start thinking of ones that you think are about to happen.
For the listener, just like check out a quick compilation of whoops. Okay, so yeah, there's a shitload of whoops out there.
I mean, it's good shit.
And Blink-182, the whole reason that they split with Tom was they wanted to work with a record label after working with Dogs Eating Dogs and getting fucking nothing over it. They wanted a label to put them out, put them on the radio.
And they'd been self-producing ever since Jerry Finn died.
Yeah, so they had been self-producing, and the label said, look, if you want us to like do things with this, you have to work with a producer, you have to work with an established producer, and
what's the CV there?
well, they find the guy who did the theme song to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater,
They find him on Craigslist.
John Feldman, who in my eyes is finally the villain of this podcast. This podcast has needed a villain.
He's the poor man's Tim Armstrong.
He's poor man's everything. John Feldman.
Does he have like co-writing credits and shit?
He writes every song on this album with them. So John Feldman is the singer-songwriter for the band Goldfinger, who, if you know that name, it's because you remember hearing them while busting a kickflip off the roof of a school in 1999.
So he's a legend.
He wrote Superman.
He wrote
you know the song.
Superman.
Yeah.
Great.
Although I know him best for the singer of the cover of 99 Left Balloons.
There you go.
Also pretty fucking good. But I forgot that he had been producing.
Yeah. So I saw the Mountain Goats once, and they covered They covered Superman by Goldfinger, and he's doing this like somber piano cover of Superman, and in the middle of it, he goes, "There's a huge generational gap here." There's half the audience saying this doesn't sound like one of your songs, and the other half is saying like remembering busting a kickflip off the roof of a school in 1999.
Nice.
And that's all Goldfinger is and ever should have been known for.
Here I am, growing older all the time, looking older all the time, feeling younger in my mind. And here I am, doing everything I can, holding on to what I am, pretending I'm a Superman.
This is like Anti-Flag hiring Good Charlotte to produce an album.
Yeah.
But that worked.
But it's interesting that both of these more established bands hired bands that were influenced by them.
Yeah.
To maybe try to capture the thing about them that inspired so many people.
Definitely.
His biggest hit that he worked with from the jump was The Used. Like he produced all the
All-Time Low.
Used records. I'd argue The Used is bigger than All Time
Well-
Low.
Not to the Zoomers.
Sure.
What I gotta say is that The Used have one very good song, and I just hate everything else they've ever fucking written.
Taste of Ink.
Yeah.
Saw them over for Blink-182.
Yeah, they lied to me. I've never felt so fucking burned by an album before.
Like,
It's
no
just-
shit, this is gonna slap. And then
Yeah,
it didn't.
and then it
Yeah.
didn't. Like, because I don't even hate Screamo, but they made me think I didn't like Screamo because I was like, this is unfucking listenable.
I liked them back in the day for a minute, but going back to, as an adult was
Oh, it's rough.
it's real rough.
Well, I guess, like, yeah, because, like, them and At the Drive-In were apparently the same genre, and I had no idea because, oh, my gosh, yeah. Yeah, I can't talk enough shit about that.
Claims
band.
that he belonged to the Church of Jerry Finn. He idolized him and promised to honor his legacy mixing Blink-182. Mark said, "I never thought there would be anybody that could come even close to replacing Jerry, and John is really the closest that we've come to someone who could fill that capacity."
That just says a lot about Jerry Finn, because that's not even fucking close.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree so much, because one of my biggest complaints about this record, and let's go ahead and get started in a second, but my biggest complaint is the guitar sound. And Matt and Mark both said in an interview, we wanted to stop worrying about tones. We wanted to stop doing all of this production shit that Tom's doing with Angels and Airwaves. I'm paraphrasing here. And we just wanted to capture the energy of Blink-182. So they fucking plug directly into the mixer. There are no amps on this record.
Woof.
All of the tones, all of the distortion pedals, all of this shit is picked in post.
I think about how Tom, when I was reading like guitar magazines when I was a kid, would say it's all about pickups and amp, and was not super virulently anti-pedal the way that like Fugazi or Rancid are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But was still talking about simplicity of tone.
Yeah.
And then finally just sort of, had to start an entirely different project.
Yeah.
And then it had mixed results with Blink-182.
Well, when we talk about Enema of the State, we talked about how Jerry Finn spent 2 days figuring out drum sound. Jerry Finn was a tone person, and that's where Tom gets it from. And for them to fucking ignore that shit entirely on this record says everything to me about them not caring about Jerry Finn's legacy at all.
I think he was just excited to have someone else. I read an interview where Mark stops mid-sentence to say, "Fuck. Every other sentence I say, I just use the word excited, because that's the only thing I'm feeling right now. I'm just excited." Okay, that's my answer to every question. I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited.
That's cute.
Yeah.
So Blink writes 16 songs in 2015. At the end of 2015, Matt, Mark, and Travis get together. They write 16 songs. January 2016, they bring them to the studio with John Feldman. He says, "These songs suck. All of them are going away." They write 50 songs.
Wow, I wonder what those songs sound like.
I know, me too. I bet that album's great. Mm-hmm. They write 50 songs in January and February.
Who did that? Rob Cavallo basically did that to Green Day, though, and they wrote American Idiot. So I see where this guy's coming from, but you're not Jerry Finn.
Or Rob Cavallo.
You're not Rob Cavallo. Both of those bands are both of those producers are legends. You wrote Superman.
They write 50 songs. Superman is a great song, but they write 50 songs, and at the end of February, they have 28 tracks recorded, and Travis says, "Let's release every single one of them as an hour and 20-minute album."
Travis is fucking as excited about this album as Mark was.
Yeah, and it's weird to me. I guess they just wanted to be in Blink-182.
Yeah.
They just wanted to be in Blink-182.
Because to go back to your question earlier, too, like, Tom could not get it together to come to the studio and write songs and work with them, even though he could be super productive with Angels and Airwaves. Like, they just wanted to, like, shit out some songs. Like, come on, dude. Like, let's just get it done.
Not everything has to be this huge, hyped up.
I could see that being extremely liberating to not have somebody who cares so meticulously about songcraft.
Yeah.
But if you don't have someone who cares about songcraft, no one cares about it.
It is both a blessing and a curse on this album, because the songs are all pretty formulaic. Which, again, what are we suddenly criticizing Blink-182 for writing formulaic songs with silly lyrics?
Right.
I think that they had spent several years trying to either take themselves more seriously or just be taken more seriously, and I could see why the remaining members would be excited to finally do something with a little more levity.
Yeah.
So by July 1st, all of us in this room have heard Bored to Death.
A lyric video.
A lyric video is released. I think a music video came out before as well. And I saw the music video or the lyric video, something, and was like, oh shit, this makes me feel like a teenager again.
Seeing the tiger from a tree lyric right now, I was
fucking
like,
hate that lyric.
Nah, that shit's pretty cool.
But yeah, just I saw it and I was like, shit, I feel like a teenager getting hyped about a Blink album again. I haven't been hyped about a Blink album since I was 20 years old. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Next couple of weeks later, Patrick is in town because I was living in Northern Virginia at the time. to do an open mic at some bar in Vienna. And we hadn't seen each other in a little while. And we're standing outside smoking cigarettes before you go to do stand-up. This is the first time I saw you do stand-up. And talking about this. And I'm apprehensive. But you're just like, no, dude, check this shit out. Like, have you heard Built This Pool yet? You pull your phone out. You show me the lyric video for Built This Pool.
Hit it.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Like, very well done. And I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Let's fucking do this.
So the album was already out. When?
No. So this is before
Built
the album
This Pool
comes out.
is the other sneak preview they give you before the album
Yeah.
comes out. Just to remind you that this is Blink, baby.
Yeah. And I was like,
Cool.
all right, shit. Let's
This is
fucking
not
do
Up
this.
All Night.
I bought this day of. At this time, I had not bought a CD at a store the day it came out since Untitled.
Wow.
Like, oh, you know what it was? It was Red Album by Weezer, and I was very disappointed. Because I just
The one
happened to
with
be...
pork and beans on it.
Well, I happened to be in a store the day that it came out, and I bought it. But, like, this was the first one that I was, like, psyched to go buy the day it came out.
Yeah.
We did have Spotify and shit, but I liked the art. The art direction by D-Face is who does the art on this. It's great. I like it.
I wonder if he's selling NFTs right now.
Well, both Travis and Mark are into NFTs.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Of course they are.
Travis has got a Bored Ape.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Thing.
pretty cool if you are a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Before the album came out, though, Patty saw them live. The only
Yeah,
one in
the
this room
2
to have
days
seen
before, right?
Skiba 82.
Yep, I saw them with Mikey and our friend Alex Hill, very funny comedian who lives in Arizona. Or maybe he went to the University of Phoenix. I don't know. Could be both. We were very excited. We were cheering for Matt Skiba the entire time. We saw them with Mikey and Alex and Mikey's sister because her partner was playing in Amberetta, who opened. And I texted Mikey because I was so bummed out that he wasn't going to be on the show because I thought it was very
He
funny.
talked about it on his episode.
Oh, really?
On this pod.
So he reminded me that they pulled up in 3 separate tour buses all through Innsbruck during Amberetta's set.
Whoa.
And he might, which was kind of a dick move. I mean, it was phrased to build hype, but you can build hype between bands, I suppose.
I'm pretty surprised about that because Skiba is not at that level yet.
He is when he's in Blink-182.
He took to being a rock star pretty quickly.
I know. I mean, I remember talking to a homie who played in, I guess, The Secrets or just was on some sort of tour with Matt Skiba. And yeah, said it was just like small clubs being like really dingy and debauched the entire time, which, again, glad to have that energy back to Blink-182.
Yeah.
It's very funny that they
Well, that was
hired such a...
2015, right?
Yeah,
That's when
I guess
The Secrets
so.
put that album out. Yeah.
That sounds right. But what strikes me as so funny is that they would fire their drummer for being an alcoholic mess and then later on hire a guy who has written every single good song of his about being an alcoholic mess. And Skiba uses backing guitars and Hoppus uses autotune. You can hear the autotune pretty clearly on this. And yeah, Laura Jane Grace in her book calls out Alkaline Trio and Skiba for being dicks on tour and
Using a backing guitarist.
using
yeah.
a backing guitarist
Wow.
behind the stage.
That was a big controversy I'd heard about before Blink. That, yeah, Alkaline Trio was touring with a guy backstage playing guitar.
Korn did that too.
Well, if Korn did it.
When I heard that Skiba was replacing Tom,
Other great band that's played with Robert Smith.
and I had that belief about Blink when I saw them at Free Fest, made sense.
Right.
Let's fucking kick it off with Cynical. Is everyone ready to listen to this album?
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of album to get through.
Certainly not my
it's gonna
favorite
be great.
song called Cynical, but pretty good.
There's a cynical feeling saying I should give
Starts with Mark Alone,
You said everything you'll ever say.
which is
There's a moment
symbolic.
of panic when I hear the phone ring. Anxiety's calling in.
Do you want to take bets on which song is like the song about Tom?
Oh, I know which one it is, but this is Autotune.
And Skiba's singing with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mark's like, but hey, Tom, I still have Travis.
Yeah.
You gotta love this hard bop.
Yeah, this is a bop.
Yeah, I fucking love this shit.
So, I'm blinded by this being a slapper.
Why?
Because it, like, when I first hear it, it's great, but then you listen to the lyrics.
Here it is.
First whoop of the episode. Let's keep a whoop count.
I thought you already did it.
Oh, you
Not
just said
per
they're in.
album, just in every song.
Oh,
Start counting.
Yeah.
that'll be so distracting. So I got what's it called? Where you're put in a situation so long you start to love it. Stockholm Syndrome. That
Which
Blink-182
somebody's
song.
trying to tell me it's not real.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I got out of this album, so I think it's real.
Don't they have a song called Stockholm Syndrome?
Yeah. But that's what this gave me, because I listened to this for a week, and I was so against it. And then over the past couple days, I was like, you know what? This album's good.
Yeah, I will always defend enjoying this album. I mean, I had a great time seeing them live before this came out. They played, they played hits and they played some deeper cuts. They did Reckless Abandon.
That's what Mikey said everyone's
with
favorite
Skiber.
part was.
Yes, that was definitely everyone we were with. Or just him doing the Where Are You?
Uh-huh.
All right. So, yeah, this riff is a Blink riff.
But it's
It's-
also an Alkaline Trio riff.
Yeah.
So I was on board with this album after hearing the lead single, because I said this is Skiba with Blink-182 and it meshes perfectly. Not yet. Travis is an incredible drummer from start to finish, but he's never not been. He just gets tighter and tighter, just like Trey. Cool.
Yeah.
Their drumming just gets tighter with every year.
And it seems like...
And his story is such a good, inspiring comeback.
Oh, definitely.
So, this song, as well as this album, earned Blink-182 their very first Grammy nominations in their career.
Yep.
Bored to Death, Best Rock Song.
I mean,
California Best Rock Album.
That's impressive that they wouldn't get nominated at least for the for Neighborhoods.
True. Well, yeah, that's true. Man.
But
Neighborhoods was kind of like a, critical failure, though. Not critical, but commercial failure.
Yeah.
I see.
Didn't sell.
Which is what the Grammys are all about.
Yeah.
I think giving them a Grammy nom for this, it's a good story.
It's got to feel gross for Tom, though.
especially after they announced the reunion on the Grammys.
Yeah. Whoop in song 2.
But no, you mentioned Travis. This album makes me think like Travis was actively trying to not sound like Blink-182 on the Plus 44 album. I mean,
Yeah.
the songs are worse and more boring
As a result,
on Plus 44. Yeah,
no, that sounds like they're very much not trying to make a Blink album, and in its way, it doesn't feel like one.
yeah.
Classic sort of Mark lyric about sobriety and lack thereof is a huge theme on this album, I
Totally.
think.
Because he's been fighting somebody dealing with that.
Then they hired Matt Skiba, who tends to only write lyrics about alcoholism.
Okay, so we've already run out of whoops to count. There's
This is the third.
There's but there's whoop, whoop, whoop.
Well, no, I just mean instance of.
So you were complaining about the lyrics in this?
Life is too short to last long. Go fuck yourself, Mark Hoppus.
Life is short.
life is too short to last long. You could just say life is short.
I have a
Every time I look for you, the sun goes down. I don't know. I don't think he's this. He writes pretty pedestrian lyrics. Give him a fucking break.
I have
Roller coaster, favorite ride.
I have an opposing take on the lyrics of this album, and I think it's that they are good. I think the lyrics on this are good.
Ken's I'm a lyrics guy now. After California by Blink-182.
Well, Feldy,
Officially a lyrics guy.
Feldy, the producer,
I wish Fieldy produced this.
Wish Fieldy played bass on this.
he forced Mark to write off the top of its dome and record right away. And Travis's biggest problem with working with Mark is how long Mark takes obsessing over lyrics. Like, he changes them for months before the record comes out. He gets way too in his head about them. And I think there's a little bit of going on of like, I mean, Travis says it's just first thought, best thought. Let's get this album out. But I think Mark is like in a new relationship with the guitarist. Like it's exciting, and he's not like bummed out like he was with other breakup-y lyrics, but it's still like a big thing to process. And I think he like is, in a way, it might not all be directly about Tom, but it's still coming out. The emotion's coming out. Like I've mentioned on this before, because I plugged it on a past episode. I made a short film called The Joke, which I watched recently because I had plugged it. And I hadn't watched it in years, and it's starring me and my ex-wife, and it made me laugh so fucking much. There's a moment in that short, which is less than 2 years before we separate, where I look her in the face and say, I don't think I've ever truly loved anything. And I just laughed so much. But I wasn't feeling that intentionally to say that to her at the time, but it did come out that way. And I think that's going on throughout this whole record, is like Mark is sort of processing the whole new situation and letting go of the old one without it being so conscious.
Yeah, he said that John told him, okay, we've got song structure, write lyrics, go in there and sing it. Go in there and just sing it. Sometimes I was like, I'm not ready to sing. He would go, no, go write something right now. And it just sounds like this like dad yelling at Mark, like, go finish your homework right now.
No, I think it sounds almost encouraging in a way. Like, you're Mark Hoppus. It's not like you're going to write something that's completely garbage.
Right.
But there's going to be some, mixed metaphors, and he's going for something, but he's not obsessing over it and perfecting the line. So there's an emotion there, even if the words don't quite make sense.
But what's the line you hate in Bored to Death?
Rescuing, like there's a stranger coming out of the ceiling, rescuing a tiger from a tree.
That's evocative.
Fuck does
Yes,
that
it is
mean?
evocative.
But also, just life is too short to last long. Fuck you. Life is
It
short.
works. That's
all you need to
Blink-182.
say.
That's so Blink.
Life doesn't last long, or life is too short. But life is too short to last long.
How many lyrics in the world have you enjoyed where it's like a redoing of some
It's
common
redundant,
phrase?
is all I'm saying. But
This album's redundant.
in argument for your first instinct is always the best, he obsessed over the chorus of this next song. So whatever his first instinct had to be, it had to be better than this, right?
You don't like this song?
I like this. Okay, this song is fine, but so let's paint the picture. He's with a crazy girl,
He says, settle down.
which is a good thing to say to someone right away.
I thought she said settle down.
I said settle down, everything is fine.
Well, she's antisocial.
She's antisocial, but she's an angel, yeah?
I'm in deep with this girl, but she's out of
Millennial
Number
Whoop.
4.
But she's out of her mind because she said she's sorry that she's crazy. She's got a black shirt, a black skirt,
Bauhaus stuck in her head.
and that's what makes her crazy. Let's stop for a second. Everyone
Everything
here has
else is
listened to
pretty normal,
Bauhaus,
like-
correct?
Yeah.
They're not a band you get stuck in your
I
head.
know, it's so weird.
That person's fucking crazy.
This is not the
Just
angle
this
I
person
expected.
just going down the road like, Bela Lugosi's dead.
You're agreeing with think it's.
Bela Lugosi's
I
dead.
thought you were saying this song is gonna be like.
I just had to look for a while to find out why she was out of her mind. And my boyfriend really likes Bauhaus, and we had Bela Lugosi's Dead on the other day. And I was like, there is no way that anyone just has this stuck in their head. She needs something to live for. It makes me mad.
He's putting a sad goth girl on a pedestal, and he doesn't understand why she's not perfect all the time.
Because she's got fucking 6-minute droney songs about vampires in her head.
She's an angel, yeah. I'm in deep with this girl, but she's out of her mind.
This song had a music video where they remake "What's My Age Again" with Vine stars, which Vine is already on its way out when this album comes out.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It was like the "What's My Age Again" video, but with ladies, right? And before that, they did the "What's My Age Again" video, but with little
Small people, yes.
Yeah. And they this piano line written by Alabama Barker. She was sitting in the studio and nobody could come up what to do on the piano at the
Who dat?
And Travis's daughter says, "I have an idea," and she walks over and does that.
Alabama Barker is her name.
Yep.
It's not
Poor
rednecky at
girl.
all.
She's a girl who's out of her
Jesus.
mind.
She said,
Her name is Alabama.
But she said, "Babe, I'm sorry, I'm crazy tonight."
She sure did. She could say that again.
Also, if you watch
The mental health community is mad about this song.
Oh yeah, that's the angle I thought you were going to take on it the whole time. Was this is a sexist, crazy thing? Like he's the crazy person in the song.
No, if there is a girl that's got Bauhaus stuck in her head frequently enough to write a chorus about it, she's out of her goddamn mind.
I like the line about the head on the door, though. We love a good Cure reference. And we get 2 on this album.
If you another thing that annoys me about that video is those Vine stars don't know how to play the instruments, and so the drummer is literally playing drums like Jerry O'Connell in Joe's Apartment, like does not know what she's doing at all.
Have you guys seen Korn and The Cure?
Yeah.
No.
It's better than Blink-182 and The Cure. Much better.
Should we watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just love that The Cure had to learn a Korn song for this.
Well, we've talked about
And they replaced their drummer right before this, so they just had a guy in a pig mask.
The Cure is very supportive of younger artists. They were very supportive of Blink, and I could see them being down with The Cure. With Korn.
The Korn.
The Korn. Korn would later go on to make an album with Skrillex. So they're all over the place.
It's good, it's all the same. I want something to do. Need to feel the sickness in you. I feel the freezing as it's leaving me. No, not yet. It's quite deceiving.
This slaps.
I'm telling you.
Make me bad. I feel the reason as it's leaving.
Yeah, I don't have an ear for Korn.
I just have an ear for Robert Smith.
This is one of Korn's best songs. It's on Issues. Check this out. They do In Between Days in a minor key. In Between Days from the album Head on the Door.
Yesterday I got so old.
Oh, no.
Nah, it's good.
That's how he always sounds.
It just...
It's
It
in a
caught me
minor
off
key.
guard.
Yeah,
To cry. Go on.
they make the melancholy song more melancholy.
Yeah, it's like in a minor key. That's like the thing about that song is how happy it sounds.
Yeah.
And disappear. Go on.
Wow.
It's cool. I mean, what makes the original so good is the juxtaposition. But when you're Korn, you just gotta very be self-aware in how gloomy you are.
So, who's gonna be the band that gets Korn to be their cure? Like,
Lips.
yeah, let's like Lips Unplugged.
we
get
bring
Korn.
Fieldy out to play. Oh, wait, is Fieldy rocking an acoustic bass during this whole performance?
Yeah.
Let's give him some credit for actually playing it.
The guy who was able to be replaced by his 12-year-old son.
That doesn't sound quite right. I know he was replaced by an adolescent, but I don't
really
think
think he was 12.
I don't think they're related, though.
No, it was his kid. It was definitely his kid.
Well, they should replace Fieldy with Mike Huckabee. He did a pretty good job on Blind. Tell me you've seen the video of Mike
I've
Huckabee
seen-
playing Blind.
No.
Are you ready?
He's got an iPad as his for tablature. There's also my favorite thing about it is there's another.
He's tapping his foot too.
There's another bassist also playing it.
To the listeners at home, look up Mike Huckabee Korn.
All right.
That's Korn with a K, by the way, and a backwards R.
You will not find it if you type it incorrectly.
Frontwards R doesn't work.
We'll see, but typically Mike Huckabee's talking more about Korn with a C.
What if he talks about Korn with a K more than he talks about Korn with a C?
There's no way that guy talks more about the new metal bands. He brags about playing with Korn every time he's around somebody under the age of 50.
That guy is a backwards R.
No, let that mean whatever you want it to mean. You could talk about Republican. You could talk about something else that's synonymous with Republican.
Well, I never thought that you would find something that would make me so thrilled to hear the song Los Angeles. by
Wait,
Blink-182.
we can't play that yet.
Why not?
We gotta switch places. So there's
It's not my favorite song. There's a theme coming up on this album where not my favorite song called Los Angeles, but it's all right. Not my favorite song called Cynical, but I'll take it.
so they get Patrick Stump to write some songs for them for this album,
He didn't write this
but he
one.
doesn't write this song with them, which doesn't make sense at all. This is from 2013.
Be careful making wishes in the dark, dark. Can't be so women hit that mark. And besides, in the meantime, I'm just dreaming of tearing you apart.
So what songs does Patty Stump write with them? The Stump Man!
Get me on my level. I just gotta get you out the cage. I'm a young lover's age. Gonna need a spark to ignite. My songs know what you did in the
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
this
Imagine Dragons?
Yeah, this is like totally where Imagine Dragons comes from. Like, it's nuts that this song was a hit. It's such a weird, bad song. I don't like Fall Out Boy, but it's nuts that he wrote other songs, and then they take this for Los Angeles.
I like Los Angeles more than this.
Definitely me too. But there's another song.
And more than any song by Imagine Dragons, tell you what.
Absolutely. But there's another song that was a big hit, one of the biggest hits of the year last year, 2015.
This is written by Patrick Stump.
No, but it's a big-ass fucking hit. And
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight.
Woof.
Hunt you down, eat you.
You know,
Oh, gross.
yeah, dude, Duran Duran was way less creepy about this fucking 40 years ago. Chill the fuck out.
Think that you can hide. I can smell yourself from miles. Just like animals. Animals like animals. Moles. Baby, I'm...
So the question is, does Fall Out Boy inspire this, and this gets heard by everyone, and the producer brings this
I know the Fall Out Boy song. I don't know this song.
Nothing that
You
either
don't know
this
this
song or the song before this did could be labeled inspiring by anybody.
Yeah, you can start over. You can run free.
Come on, this doesn't inspire you to dance?
Inspires me
It
to
sure
see what
doesn't.
snacks are
I
in the
tell you what,
kitchen.
I got drunk and danced at this live last fall, and it was great.
That's on you for seeing Maroon 5 live.
It was great. What my bit was going to be like, wait, just hold on a second. You got to hear just and see how long I could get you guys to listen to Maroon 5.
Dude, please turn it off.
I mean, that's why I told you the bit, so we didn't have to.
I never thought I'd be excited to hear Blink-182's Los Angeles.
Yeah, you made Rip even more excited to hear this shit. I hope you're happy.
I'm winning you over on this album.
On Maroon 5. Oh, wait, just by playing worse shit.
Yeah.
So the album's a concept album about
California.
North Dakota.
The Californians. It
And
was a
this-
big hit on SNL at the time.
This is Mark's adopted home, Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And he's never going home to San Diego, which is on the album later.
I think it all works pretty good thematically.
I actually hate this song less now than I did 4 years ago. 6 years ago?
I like this song more than I did fucking 4 minutes ago. I like that the vocals sound like a fucking air horn. Bow, bow.
I don't think I'd noticed that. That's
And
so
then
funny.
I love at the end when Skiba goes, LA, LA.
Whoop number 4.
Oh, Mulholland Drive, Los Angeles. He's hitting the octaves. They're having a good time, and this is, I think, a big part of writing with Matt Skiba is they could write more dramatic, thematic music. Mm-hmm. Thematic, of or relating to a theme.
Dramatic, thematic things with Tom are so dramatic and theatrical.
But they can't just
But they're silly.
have a
almost.
simple guitar tone the way this does. I don't know. I don't hate the guitar tone on this as much as you do.
Me neither. I think Mark's bass playing on this album rules.
A lot of bass chords.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, his big show off. But then there's a few real kind of Dude Ranch little licks on there, too.
Sort of, yeah. I wish there were more riffs, but...
I was thinking about this album having less memorable riffs than anything with Tom. But then I was trying to remember memorable riffs from later Tom albums, and I just remember the guitar effect more than the actual riff itself.
Yeah.
And again, to go back to Tom DeLonge talking during Enema and Take Off Your Pants era about how the most important things are your pickups and your amp.
Uh-huh.
And he was doing those Seymour Duncans into the Mesas.
So, Sober was written by Patrick Stump. The next song coming up.
So we can blame him for the one the first genuinely terrible lyric on the album.
Which is...
I'm a dandelion, you're
Yeah.
a four-leaf clover.
That's some Blink-182 shit to me.
It's worse than anything Blink
It's-
had ever written. It's worse than Cross the Street Naked at Night, bent over to show some moonlight.
When I'm sober.
So I knew this was written by Patrick Stump before I even looked up that it was knew who wrote it.
Uh-huh.
I just, that sounds like fucking Fallout
And
Boy
what's so
line.
funny, it has the na-na-nas in it, and you're like, this is still not as good as... I don't like this song at all. And the fact that it was written by Fall Out Boy, I don't know, makes me feel vindicated in not liking this song or Fall Out Boy before knowing that.
So I'd never heard the verses till this week. Because I got the, I'm a dandelion, you're a
Yeah, you're like,
four-leaf
I'm not
clover.
listening to this
Next!
Yeah, stop.
Like,
There's I understand. That's so funny that first thought is your best thought, and it produces some, varied quality lyrics, and yet one that was written for them has probably hands down the worst line on the whole album.
I'm serious. Until this
Worse
week,
than
I had not
There's Something
finished
About
this
You I
song.
can't quite put my finger in.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
But, yeah,
I'm not saying it's a great lyric. Why is it so bad?
Oh, I just
it's not even the lyrics for me. Like, the construction of this song is fucking bullshit. I'm sorry.
This song does not.
I'm a
get me
Jenny
going.
lot. The going. I don't know. It
interval
does
bad.
all the Fall Out Boy things.
Together. I know I messed up and
And the fact that they never just hit this chorus. Be Blink-182. Hit the chorus hard.
Yeah, I mean when
That's
we were
annoying.
young, or when I was young, he hits that chorus loud.
Hit the chorus.
Yeah.
There are just many issues with this album, with Blink trying to do a fucking piano-driven song.
Yeah.
Hey, let's spend the next minute talking about how great the next song is. It's the best song that Blink has ever written,
Hands down.
ever will write. It's one of the best songs ever written.
I agree. We have 40 seconds until when we refer
We could
to
listen
it.
to Built This Pool twice in that amount of time.
That's true.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Yeah, that's the thing is I could listen to Build This Pool like 30
How many times? Yeah,
times
instead of this song.
instead of Sober.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
You guys realize I have to play Built This Pool.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Every time we say Built This Pool.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
So this song is cutting in and out as we're saying this.
Built This Pool.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
I'd like someone to go back and figure out how many times we've played Built This Pool on this podcast.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Established
It's
by
at
Patty.
least once an episode.
Yeah. Well, let's break this down.
Let's
before we-
build this pool.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Before we actually build this pool, let's break it down.
Why did he build the pool?
13 words. Oh no.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
So Mark wants to see some naked dudes.
All right, now if you wanted to see some naked dudes,
If I wanted to see some
first
naked
thought,
dudes,
best thought.
He's
Like,
a
you
millionaire.
could-
He doesn't have to go on the internet.
yeah,
to look
you
at
could
porn.
go on the internet, but if you have millions of dollars
watch
and
a
just
Harvey
want to
Keitel
see some
movie.
naked dudes, you build a pool. He's saying what we're all thinking. It's really just finally a song for the working man.
It reminds me, speaking of the Schmitz gay commercial from SNL. If anybody remembers that,
No.
pull it up. It's about a minute long.
Wait, I do remember it.
Yeah.
Yes, the Chris Farley.
Adam Sandler.
Yes.
It's got to be the inspiration for
Oh,
this
that
song.
makes so much sense.
This is the great house sitting deal that you found. This place is a dump. Just wait till you see the pool. No water? You two look like you need to get wet.
If you've got a big thirst and you're gay, reach for a cold, tall bottle of Schmidt's Gay.
I think I'm gonna like house.
So I have a question. So that plays into why I said that I don't think that Blink's homophobic jokes or Blink's gay jokes on the live album I don't think are homophobic and I don't think are hateful.
Let's just build this pool.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
The same way that I don't think that was homophobic or hateful. In the 90s, being politically incorrect went against the conservatives.
That is true.
It was like jokes
and
about...
the joke is more that I'm gay.
Yeah,
Ha-ha.
the joke
Which
is I'm
being-
gay and gay is funny because it scares Republicans.
Yes.
Like,
Shock the middle class, take it up your punk rock ass.
yeah. Is that a line from something?
Screeching Weasel, I
All
want
right.
to be a
Ooh.
homosexual.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no,
Call
that-
me a faggot, call me a butt-loving, fudge-packing queer. But I don't care, because it's the straight and straight edge that makes me want to drink a beer and be a homo.
Y'all ready for this?
Let's build this pool.
I'd like to say thank you for listening to this podcast. This is where we call it a day. Greatest song. We've been building up to this pool for a very long time.
and we haven't played it yet. but now, we haven't listened to it yet, but now we're going to listen to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, moment of silence. As Mark Hoppus, Matt Skiba, and Travis Barker present Built This Pool.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Is that really it?
They played it twice when we saw
They
them.
really?
They did
I don't know if you got it, but it's
no, 3 times. Yeah, they did it. They did it normal speed, and then they slowed it down so everyone could. Yeah. Mark said, "I really need everyone to hear the lyrics of this song, so we're going to slow it down." They played a slow version, and then they played the fat. Now that everybody knows the lyrics,
So that's really Travis.
built this pool slow.
That's really
That's
Travis
Travis?
at the end because they said, we just need you to do drums for 16 bars on something.
Huh.
And he just starts playing, only knowing the tempo and how long he's supposed to play. And they have it, then it's recorded. And when it stops, he's like, is that really it? Yeah.
Dude built this pool slow. That's how we would know. Huh. That might have just been a special moment for me and Mikey to
I
share.
did try to find footage from the show you were at and could not find any.
At Innsbruck.
Yeah.
all right. So we're moving on.
Wait. We're not moving on. We need to break this down.
We're moving on to Built This Pool.
By word.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Is that really it?
Yes, Travis, that is really your career. That's it right there. Building a pool.
And that's it for us playing that song on this podcast, unfortunately. Winky, winky.
Yeah. So now we play the song that follows Built This Pool. Built This Pool.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Is there no future in which I don't fall for this?
But for real, the next song's called No Future.
Nah, this is good. I like it.
They're like, oh, we were referencing the Sex Pistols in
Yep.
this song.
Yep.
So
Pretty cool.
this is No Future.
Oh, I hear the Sex Pistols reference.
I really do too. Yeah.
That's why I built this pool.
Is that really it?
It's fine, but let's move on to Home is Such a Lonely Place.
David Letterman right now.
That was apparently a radio hit. Let's hear Left Alone.
Oh my god.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Is that really it?
We're gonna move on. This is the only song where they let Skiba use his Alkaline Trio voice.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Hello, Phil.
Yo.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The sun will always rise every day.
Let's get going.
We are.
Yeah.
Thank God we're not doing the deluxe.
That's next week.
The fuck else is on it?
It's the
12 more songs.
It's the full album Travis wanted to release.
I'll listen to that. Is it on Spotify?
It
Yeah.
is. It's
Good,
got.
because I'm actually gonna start paying for all of my friends' Spotify accounts when they drop.
I hate
I'm
these
doubling
lyrics.
down on them.
I hate
The
these
little
lyrics.
Rancid reference right there.
Which one? Like,
Like,
wait,
wait.
I just think that's a phrase. But here it is, the Alkaline Trio
There's no way
voice.
they're not aware of that.
But it's too late to try.
So going through Reddit board posts,
These songs are about nothing.
there's a big debate between some people really hate how much they go back and forth on this album.
No, I love that about this album.
I love
they
it
hadn't done it
too.
in a long time.
They do it better than they did ever with both Blink and Tom, as far as like consistency through a whole album.
I don't think they let Skiba write anything on this.
Is that just conjecture?
Yes.
I think it sounds like some ski. Like I never thought that. They always seemed like a band that sings what they write, or occasionally give each other some lines.
There's a few lines he sings that are references to stuff in his life. Some
Sure.
references to Chicago and I forget.
Yeah, they're
But those are on the deluxe. You're thinking of Parking Lot,
Maybe.
which is a great song on deluxe. The 11 songs from deluxe are better than the 16 songs on this. I can't believe they didn't put Can't Get You More Pregnant on the regular album.
Okay, I have heard "Can't Get You More Pregnant."
Where did you go?
This is Alkaline Trio voice.
That's what I'm saying.
Where did you go? And what did she hope to find?
Oh,
Pretty good.
Where did you go? Where did you go to find it? Where did you
The verses don't match the chorus in this.
nothing matches the anything.
You really hate this album.
I don't like the lyrics. The music is good.
from dusk and they don't care about
That shit rules.
This could use more pick slides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Replace every millennial whoop with a pick slide.
These lyrics mean nothing.
I don't know. I think
There's
Mark's
no-
getting some stuff out.
Better
in some
not
of
a Nas
these.
than sober. I'll tell you what. But I mean,
These lyrics are better than anything on To the Stars.
I would also avoid writing anything with Nana Nas
Disagree.
in it if you already wrote all the small things, because everyone's just going to compare it to one of the biggest hits of your career.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was their second number one hit
What? Home is
on
such a
this
lonely
album.
place.
Yeah,
They've never played it live.
really.
Yeah.
I think they've done an acoustic.
Oh, okay. Well, just on the big tours, they never play it. I think it's solid.
This is apparently the one that's about Tom.
That's not what I
San-
not what I saw.
San Diego's the one about Tom.
Yeah, San Diego.
Oh, you're right.
I think they're all sort of
they're all
about
sort of
Tom.
about it, yeah.
Mark claims this is about his kids growing up and leaving home.
Well, the music video is like all of them doing like home movies with their kids.
Yeah, it's them spending time with their families before tour, and you can see in the background that Skiba's family gets Domino's delivered. That's what I got. That's the little insight I got out of that video.
that Skiba's got Blink-182 money and still orders Domino's?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you order Chicago style.
They have
Domino's deep dish. They got the best deep dish.
But do you guys think he avoided the Noid? That was my biggest question watching this video. Is like, we saw Domino's.
But has the Noid been avoided?
Yeah, like,
So,
do you think the Noid Ghost produced this album?
I think Skiba might.
well, you know, like the reason
Have you
that
ever seen Skiba and the Noid in the same room together?
You're right.
you know the reason Domino's dropped the Noid, right?
Yes.
There was a guy, there was a serial killer or something named.
He was a mentally ill man.
yeah.
He, I worked at Domino's for years, so this is
This is what they
The
tell you on
original
day one.
lore.
When you
Yeah.
your first day as manager, they have to warn you.
Avoid anyone with the last name Noid. But don't avoid them like you're avoiding them because of things. No, they're fine people. It's just.
I'm sure some of them are good people.
He showed up with a gun, took 2 employees hostage, told the cops he demanded a certain copy of a certain book, and they went all over town to get him. They were like apparently like all the authorities were like really treating this guy nicely, and later we're like he's just really hard to talk to, but he doesn't seem like he's going to hurt anyone. And while he's waiting for the book to get there, he demands that they make him 2 pizzas for him to sit and eat right there while he holds the gun onto them. And he sets the gun down while he's eating the pizza. And then the hostages run away. Then the police are like, "Okay,
They avoided the Noid.
We're coming in to get you."
Yeah.
And he
Good
killed
job.
him. He killed himself later.
But his name was like Harold Noid or something.
Yeah.
And
This
that
is a
was-
hit. It just shows how little I was listening to the radio.
Yeah.
I keep pushing you away.
Because I don't think I'd heard this song till this week either.
There was a big debate about releasing this exclusively in physical copies before putting it on streaming services, and the band was pretty much like, "No, we're Blink-182. We're for kids. Like they're listening to shit on YouTube. We need this all to be available the same day."
Well, I remember this feeling like this is the album for the old fans. 9 is the album for the new fans.
Interesting.
Without you, home is such a lonely place.
Which is funny because I think all the like young rocker kids, just being familiar with, just like a handful of them through my job, for the most part, did not like 9. They thought it was too poppy.
I still haven't heard it.
Yeah.
I've never.
At all?
I've heard like a single.
It's got some bops on it. It's got more bops than this does.
I'm excited for it. This song was not going to be included, and Travis fought for it. He said, "Nah, this is like our only good solid guitar riff on the record." Like, and Blink-182 has solid guitar riffs, so
I
we
agree.
have to
That
keep it on
is-
there.
It is lacking memorable riffs.
Feel numbing, all or nothing. It's Friday night, the food's on
I like this. It's not great. It's Blink. Sounds like Mark Blink stuff.
control. It's Friday night, so it's
Just the No Future move, right? 2 songs later.
think of a punk rock band
Thank God for punk rock bands.
until Monday morning strikes again.
Bass
See what I'm
rules.
saying? Suburban Kings is the Kings of the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, so we listened, last week we talked about To the Stars. You can combine these 2 albums and make a great fucking Blink album.
In a fanfic way, yeah.
I'd listen
Yeah,
to that
it-
if you send it to me.
It's like this single album trilogy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially with this having the deluxe version.
Single album Sandinista.
Yeah.
Single 7-inch Sandinista.
Minds in a downward spiral.
So what's the producer's name?
John Feldman.
John Feldman.
Also the name of this wiener kid that lived next door to me in high school.
Okay. He really digested all of Blink's previous music before going into the studio with them. Like, he really claims that he cared a lot about representing what Blink-182 is all about. Listened to the albums like dozens and dozens of times.
But what Mark Hoppus's Blink-182 is all about.
Sure.
Not what Blink-182 is all about.
I think he pushes for them to... I don't know. So here's my take. I told you I was going to bring up J.J. Abrams this episode. Here we go. Because, I don't know if you know this, but the song "A New Hope" on Dude Ranch, I know this because I'm a big Blink-182 fan. That song's actually about Star Wars.
Hold on. Okay.
I've got encyclopedic knowledge here. But so there's a story. I promise this is all going to wrap around. There's a story of
Like a good episode of Lost.
Yeah. This is a story where Kathleen Kennedy, working for Disney, they've already acquired Star Wars. She's producing the reboots or whatever, the sequels, and she hangs out with Lucas for like weeks. She's like, I'm not going to make these movies until I understand what Star Wars is. And I chose right now to talk about this because this song isn't
It's
great.
about space.
Yeah, the song is about space as well. You're right. It does take Tom's imagery as like a fuck you. But she keeps going like, George, what is Star Wars about to you? And he's just like, well, it's about some religious people letting the government get corrupt and blah, blah. And she's like, no, that's not what it's about. What's it about? And she's like, well, there's a station in the sky that shoots planets. And she's like, that's not what it's about. And so she hangs out with him for weeks before she's like, all right, just tell me your story. And he goes like, all right, after THX 1138, that's not a hit. And his family's like, that was weird, nobody liked it, you should move back in with us, you can run the hardware store. His family owned a hardware store. And George goes, and I didn't want to do that. Like I felt I was meant to do something more. And Kathleen's like, that's it, that's what Star Wars is about, that's what it is. And then she hires JJ, and he totally disregards it. But JJ sort of like, he does a thing where he re-establishes what Star Wars is by capturing what it used to be. But it somehow doesn't look the same at all. It still looks like a new thing. And I think Fieldy's doing a little bit of Kathleen Kennedy here. Of like, this isn't the old Blink, but it's trying to capture a version of what that is for the young kids. This is 2016, right at the beginning of the cycle of this huge reboot culture we're in right now of like fucking Force Awakens, Jurassic World. It all lines up. This is right in line with what the culture's doing.
Yeah. The other thing about this album, I will say, and the reason like I do get angry about these terrible lyrics, but makes me feel good. Overall, this album makes me feel happy to have listened to it. Mm-hmm. It's because summer of 2016...
before shit really hit the fan.
It's the last. California's the last thing before the shit just entirely just explodes all over the fan.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. And this album feels like watching Force Awakens. It's not spiritually fulfilling, but you have a good time. You keep some old favorites. You recast some familiar roles with a new younger guy.
Was Force Awakens 2016?
2015.
Okay. You know, I don't think I've seen that movie since then.
Oh man, it's still pretty fucking good.
I've seen Last Jedi like 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good.
I've only seen the last one
Jedi's
once.
the best. It's the best Star Wars movie.
I thought you meant Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah, no.
No, I've only seen Rise of Skywalker
Something.
once. It was
I might
in
have seen it
theaters,
twice.
and I don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
I don't like what it did.
No, me neither.
This is another song, so this one really bothers me. The lyrics to this song, the chorus is "Left alone. We're only are we halfway there? Or are we halfway gone?"
What's wrong with that?
It's the same fucking thing.
Well, you'd be mad if somebody said, "Is the glass half empty or half full?"
But that's a phrase. This isn't a phrase.
He's making a phrase.
Head is loaded, cards are folded.
Yeah, I think you're picking some nits here, Reb.
But they're bad lyrics. Don't.
I like that they changed that lyric in the pre-chorus each time.
Halfway there. Alone, we're only halfway home. Sink like stones, fall into the unknown.
Yeah, this sounds like a single attempt. I'm surprised this wasn't a single.
They put a bunch of words into a word generator. This whole album is just a jumble of fucking words. It makes me feel dyslexic. Like, you can't just say things that don't make sense because they sound like they do.
Ripley, can you remember the last time I left hungover?
No, because you're 46 years old, Mark. You got kids and cancer. Like, fucking... I don't know, man. It sounds good, but it means nothing.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, this sounds like a Boulevard of Broken Dreams, like type of power ballad type of thing, and of Blink-182's ilk. I'm surprised this wasn't a single.
Here we go.
Whoopin'. So yeah, so far the only songs without a whoop are "Home Is a Lonely Place" and "It's Not Built to Spool."
Oh, that's right.
Built Spool opens with a strong whoop.
Yeah.
I think "Sober" doesn't have a built one.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So right now it's just
Maybe
"King of the Weekend" or "Home Is a Lonely Place."
When you look at just the titles to this album before listening to it, it does sort of seem like, wow, he's in a dark place. Cynical, sober, bored to death, no future, left alone.
Home is such a lonely place.
Yeah.
Rabbit hole.
This album has like a 50 on Metacritic because it's very much just like half the people loved it, half the people hated it. Mm-hmm. I hate this next song. I'll stop saying that in 4 songs.
Dear head, shut up.
So no head?
The podcast, you were looking forward to this album.
Dear head, shut up.
I love it.
Yeah, pretty good. That's it. That's straight off of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Exactly.
That's fair. It's just take off your pants. They're 25.
And this has a...
So this album felt
This
like...
album's more Take a Blue Chew and Jack.
This album feels like a return to Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Totally.
I think they almost pull it off.
Yeah, it's like 85% there.
It's missing. It's missing. It's commendable considering what an essential part they're missing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the issue is that you could tell that Tom DeLonge was not interested in doing that at all.
Right.
We've
So
talked about that a lot.
that's a huge creative difference.
We've talked about that a lot, how like the year of Take Off Your Pants and Boxcar Racer are when this band broke up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mark wanted to make more of this shit and Tom wanted to start Angels and Airwaves, pretty much.
Yeah. This album just makes me happy for Mark, and the way that like listening to Angels and Airwaves makes me happy for Tom. Like this is like Mark doing exactly what he wants to do, and he found someone to do it for him. Just like,
But it being called Blink-182 is hard for me. You know?
we
Yeah, I thought you
switched
said
places.
you were fine with it.
I'm fine with it, but it's not...
Oh, you're fine. Like
I'm
the way-
fine with it.
Fine.
It's just this time, I'm really scared of spiders.
And rabbits.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine with it because we have 2 things that are good going on. But it's... I don't know, man. These lyrics, it's really just the lyrics.
But is there never a time where you're listening to something and just enjoy the vibe of the sound?
Yeah,
and
but
just
no, honestly...
you always need the lyrics to be poetic.
Yeah, I think Ripley's more of a lyrics guy than me.
If I can
even.
understand the lyrics, I need them to make sense.
Gotcha.
If I
What
can,
about Steely Dan? Do you not like Steely Dan?
that's a vibe, though.
These
are vibes. I don't know if this is a vibe.
We're getting a nice. Don't you feel that warm sun? We just took a trip to. We're taking a trip to San Diego.
I know
This is
that
a
I
vibe.
have.
See,
I
what
have
bugs me out
complained
is
about.
that-
This is the last time I have something written down for the lyrics.
Okay.
This is a good song, and this is about Tom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Question who we used to be.
I think the the California theme works, and like Los Angeles sounds like it's sucking out your soul. It sounds like this big pop song, and then like this is like him being sad about where he came from, and then we still have like the bright and sunny one to look forward to that tells the entire story.
Cause what if I dream of going back to San Diego? We bought a one-way ticket.
I can't sleep.
Because what if I dream of going back to San Diego? That's the problem.
I can't sleep because then I'll
What
dream.
if Freddy Krueger is in San Diego?
I can't sleep because then I'll dream of going to see The Cure in a parking lot. That sounds dope, dude.
It's
Like-
sad because it's a sad memory.
Uh-huh. And like he did buy a one-way ticket to fucking play with The Cure with Tom. He's afraid of like he's done with those times with Tom. He doesn't want to have nightmares about them. Like
I don't know.
He doesn't
man.
want his subconscious fucking.
The real nightmare is when they played "Boys Don't Cry" too fast for Robert Smith.
Yeah, we
played that.
we did that. Yeah.
Oh, poor. See, it's very funny because kills it with Korn. Korn knows how to cover a fucking Cure song.
Uh huh.
Well, no, Blink's cover of Letters to Elise is amazing.
With Robert Smith singing, Korn knows how to cover The Cure.
Yeah.
Think of every person I ever.
And having seen The Cure live, it's a good image to evoke because The Cure are amazing live. They are a powerhouse. They play forever. They're like Springsteen.
And to have like an earlier song in the album of like Poppy's single reference The Cure, and then just to like back here like remind you like we did play with the Robert Smith of that old song. Right before Tom left the band, or right before Tom was fired, they had started playing all of this live with Mark singing those parts.
Really?
It had only happened a couple times, yeah.
So we're all in our 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine writing any of these songs and showing them to your peers?
Yes.
Yeah.
This one's great.
Yeah, I like the song.
And this would sound great with Tom singing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we're getting there. And I want to hear your opinion on this, Patty, because you might not be on the next episode. If you want to be on it, you can.
Is it for 9?
Yeah. Or the Angels and Airwaves episode. But do you...
Have you done any Angels and Airwaves episodes?
We've done We Don't Need to Whisper.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's the next album called?
Well, we just did We Don't Need to Whisper versus When Your Heart Stops Beating. 2006.
This song rules.
It's cute. I like it more than...
St. Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was thinking of Green Day. I was thinking of Youngblood by Green Day. Came out same year, and it's Billy's cute song for his wife.
Uh-huh.
I like when Mark's a wife guy. It's actually really cute.
Uh-huh.
But a conversation that is always talked about and is very annoying is if Tom comes back to Blink, what do you want Skiba to do?
That is an interesting question. I don't see why they can't just be a legacy act with that many members, since they need backing guitarists anyway.
Absolutely. I think that band would sound great.
I do too.
I think that they're fine. I think that Tom won't let it happen.
You think so?
So this part right here. So that little riff right there was like an Instagram spoiler like months before the album came out.
Yeah.
There was like a video of Skiba singing that line without any music behind it. So like working on new shit. And it was like, oh fuck, Blink's doing stuff. Like,
that line about getting his painting stolen, or his Marilyn Manson painting stolen, I think Skiba wrote that line. His ex stole his Marilyn Manson paintings.
when she ran off with Tom in the music video for There Is.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like that song.
Yeah,
better.
song
That song's
great.
good. I got nothing bad to say
Again,
about
just
that
taking
song.
it back to Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Totally, it's Roller Coaster Part 2
Yep.
or something.
Ba ba ba, Santa Barbara.
And this song, like, I think it's cool to have the title track near the end of the album as sort of like a statement before having like a punchline at the very end.
I wish Bohemian Rhapsody had been a bonus track.
Really?
If this was if this was like 2006,
They would've just added it to
this
the
was
end.
2002. The track listing would end with California, and Bohemian Rhapsody would be a secret track.
Right. I like undercutting the big statement song.
It's just funny because I feel like that pun had been used to describe all of their peers making rock operas in the mid 2000s.
I had never heard that pun before. It's good, though.
Yeah, it was used to describe I think both American Idiot and Black Parade.
Interesting.
Because it's
that
like
makes so much sense.
Punk bands doing the Queen thing.
I could hear it being used as a diss on Angels and Airwaves.
That makes sense. Well, it's also
I
very
always thought
funny.
they sounded more like U2 than any other bands.
Yes. And they got a Coldplay thing too, sort of.
I was reminded of that fucking Chad move that David Bowie played on Coldplay. It was a Coldplay on Bowie's part.
Wait, what
They asked him
happened?
to collaborate, and they sent him the song, and he said no, and they asked him why, and he said, well, according to Chris Martin, he said a nice thing. He said, it's not your best, is it? But then the drummer, I think, remembers it as, well, it's not a very good song, is it?
Well, because Bowie was another like supporter of young musicians in the 90s. Like
Young black musicians in particular.
Yeah, but also, I mean, Nine Inch Nails. Like, Bowie and The Cure have both taken, like, very good stances on, like, hey, you're inspired by my music, and now you're getting kids to enjoy your music. Like, let's fucking work together. Coldplay wasn't inspiring anybody.
Yeah, I think you're
For when Radiohead is too spicy.
Your statement about the na-na-nas, I think it works in that Force Awakens callback way. Like, it's supposed to remind you of all the small things.
Yeah, like in 4 songs.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not... Look, dude's not as good as Jerry Finn. I don't know.
If this had been 12 songs and half an hour long...
Yeah, I hear that argument. I get it. Here's to You, California is it's acceptance. It's acceptance of his whole story after talking about individual stuff through the whole album. It's appreciation of where he's at, regardless of everything. I dig it.
And we're coming to a close. We're at my favorite song on this record that isn't Built This Pool. It's a reprise. That's what they call it, a reprise. When you revisit a song. No, but for real, this is Bohemian Rhapsody.
I wanna see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool.
Song fucking goes.
Yeah.
It's got the like Eminem's riff.
Yes.
Well, like, if we ever did a Blink-182 cover band like we were gonna do last winter, I think this and Built This Pool would be the two I'd do from this album.
If any, yeah.
Yeah.
That I can't quite put my finger in.
Great joke.
Do you know who the vocalists on that are?
It's the producer and Mark.
It's Feldman and Mark. Yeah,
It was from inception to completion 9 minutes.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I also think Bohemian Rhapsody is just a joke about how short the song is, because that song is so epic and long.
Well, that's it.
And now we're about to start the deluxe.
All right, now we move on to track 17.
This too.
There's another 40 minutes of this.
I'm ready. I haven't heard it yet.
I'm not. We could do that on another episode.
Good. You sure could.
Well,
You absolutely could.
This might have been the longest episode yet.
It might be and it might not be, depending on the status of the first half of it.
Yeah.
Classic Tom thumping.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got one more full-length album left. We could talk about all the fucking... I think we should maybe at one point come back to the deluxe edition. It's a good album. I will say I think this album is better than I think it is.
Which do you like more, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket or California?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Wait, so you're down on Take Off Your Pants and Jacket now? That's
Yeah.
hilarious. That is hilarious.
Right?
That is rich.
I think it's really not creative. I think that
it is a sequel to Enema of the State.
Look, you didn't even listen to our episodes.
Despite the
saying
fact
what we
that
said.
the album between is called The Enema Strikes Back. It is truly The Enema Strikes Back. I'm trying to remember, what were the other names for it? Genital Ben. And did you not know that? Genital Ben is so funny.
An alternate, the alternate title for this.
Is it what?
OBGYN Kenobi.
I did know that, yeah. No, I can't remember. Something with the word load in it was one of the alternate titles.
vasectomy, vasecto you. That was what it was.
There's definitely an alternate title with the word load in it. I can't remember what it was.
No, yeah. I just think that Take Off Your Pants is uninspired and Boxcar.
We're
and
suddenly
Undone.
mad at Blink-182 for being a little trite.
Well, when Untitled is one of the most inspired, creative, alternative albums of the last half century.
But do you think that it
Yes.
is right for Tom to spend another night writing songs about all the people he thinks are gay?
Yeah. I do. I really do.
It had been a while since they had spent some nights writing songs about the people they thought were gay, and I appreciate this album for that.
How Mark is so retarded.
What is
Unguarded.
unguarded? I thought he said regarded.
We got one more Blink for Sure episode in here in the pocket.
Chips in the motherfucking bag.
And we got some Welcome to Paradise episodes y'all got to do.
Yeah, Pat, are you down for that?
For what? Some Pinhead?
Well, I was going to say there's the possibility of Longshot, the Network second album.
Oh, hell yeah.
But 1972 comes out this year.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Return to Paradise. The Enema Strikes Back.
Yes. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, just listen to my podcast. It's called It Can Be Done. It's available wherever podcasts are streaming if you're down with that communism.
Hell yeah. There's only one appropriate song to take this episode out on.
we hope
Bored to death.
you built this pool.
I wanna see some naked dudes.